Welcome back to episode motherfucking 2 of Watch Club. Drum roll, please. I don't have a drum roll, so I had to make one, but you get it. We are back in this bitch again with the second episode of our season 1 Watch Club. We are going to be doing a review and commentary of episodes 5 through 9 of Empresses in the Palace. You already know what it is. It's your girl Rami G, Twitter, Insta, Auto9 on Twitch, and also if you want to give that love, extend it all out to me on YouTube. I am at 9 Lives Productions. All of my links is always in like a bio, or if you follow me already on social media, all my other links are typically together. But check out this profile and let's get into it. Right now we are going to be doing specifically episode 5 first. You already know I got my review playing in the background. I got my little script up, and we just gonna hop right into it. Now, first off, rip, like, if y'all don't even remember from episode 4, like, we was just talking about how, like, fucking eunuch, Mr. Kang, yeah, that guy, yeah, no, fuck him, okay? And as I'm looking at this shit right now, like, Buddy's talking about, oh, I can't serve you anymore, my lady, blah, blah, blah. Fuck a guy like that, okay? But what you need to note is that loyalty is really, really big here. Lady Wan, like, knew immediately what was going up. Like, obviously it's just, yes, she has main plot armor, and obviously she has to make it through to like all 76 episodes. But here we see like the demonstration of how she pretty much protects herself and keeps herself like safe. And one of the main things is loyalty. She is like immediately like able to sense the bullshit that is Mr. Kang and his like underlings, and she sends them off. She doesn't even try, she doesn't even care. Like 1B is like obviously like bitchy and is just like whatever, but she's just like whatever, I'm fine, you're out of here, and we might as well get these like cheating ass dogs out of here. You see me? Or you feel me? Which I think that's a great thing to note, because like I said, this is one of the ways Noble Lady Wan has always been able to protect herself. She has always been able to sniff out those who are truly loyal and those who are not. Granted, this is episode 5. And as I'm recording this, I'm like way past where episode 5 is, but I want to let y'all know that we're just going to stick with episode 5, even though I may be talking about things in reference to the knowledge I already have. We're just going to act like we watching episode 5. Next thing I noticed, too, like, especially with, like, 1B, she, like, has, like, this air of, like, I'm better, almost, as she was kind of, like, dealing with, well, don't get me wrong, both Vermilion and, Jade, her dowry maids, are, like kind of defensive for her, and they're like, how could you even act like this in place of Noble Lady Wan? But specifically 1B, Jade, she kind of had an attitude of how could you even like think to even like bring your dog ass in here. Like Vermilion, if you remember, was the one who actually heard Mr. Kang talking shit in the room and acting like, Two-Faced. He was basically acting Two-Faced. Like, when she came in the room, he was like, oh, no, I can't, I'm sorry. But when she heard him outside the door, he was like, oh, I'm sick of this shit, I'm not trying to be in this bitch anymore. But yeah, it's, like I said, it's whatever. She got them out of there. She gave them money and was like, whatever, farewell, get your ass out of here type shit. Moving on. The one thing I also wanted to point out, too, here, is that, the ones who stayed, what's her name? Headmaid, Jinshi, I believe her name is, and the one little eunuch. Those people, I think it was another, like, maid or something, but the head maid and the head eunuch that end up staying, they are gonna probably be the reasons why, like, No Lady Wan is also able to protect herself, because they are super loyal to her, in the sense that, the head maid, she's been in the palace for years, and she already knows the personalities and what it's like in the life of the imperial harem and how these women are. So she was already loyal from jump. She could tell, like, the personality traits of Noble Lady Wan, and she admired that. But she also admired the fact that Noble Lady Wan was able to smoke out like the traitors and like, you know, essentially say, hey, I see that you all are my like most loyal, the ones who are gonna stay here and help me. And Jinshi was like, you're right, and I'm actually amazed that you care that much, I guess you could say, because she's probably not used to receiving, even from like the nice concubines and ladies of the palace, she's probably not used to receiving such like care and trust in a charge like that. But what I noticed too is that typically with like these dramas, like when these concubines and these consorts plan things like this, especially with their health, like it happens like 40 episodes later, but it always comes back to bite them. And I'm making a prediction that her harming her health for like this month or so, I think it was, is gonna come back to bite her. Maybe in the sense that she can't have children, because that's a huge thing in the imperial harem. Going infertile, you're basically like, when you're barren, you're basically like a useless wife back then. Like you were just like, you're there to look pretty, and if you had a family name, hey, maybe you could use your family name to like move your weight around, but if you weren't, that was even less so. So I'm wondering, or I'm predicting, based off what I'm thinking, based off what I'm wondering, that it is going to harm her health, and maybe in the childbirth area, which would serve plot, honestly, but whatever. See, I'm watching the review now, and like I'm just looking through, skipping through, and see, once again, bringing up that brother duo, like sister, brother sister duo that I'm talking about with like Consort Hua. Like I feel like she's really gonna use her brother and like outside to, and like what I mean outside, she's gonna use her brother in the court to control things while she's in the harem to control things, and together they're gonna monopolize their power. Because one, yes, the emperor is aware that he Consort Hua is like this devious, like evil bitch type wife. Like he knows, like he's not, like he's aware that she goes against the empress and constantly challenges her power. Like he knows that she's probably killed off like a couple women in the harem. Like he's not some fucking idiot, you know. But what the reason why he allows her though, and he gives her that with like the little list of punishments, is because like his brother, like I mean her brother, like they literally do need him in the war. Like he's a great general, and because of that, she gets to monopolize that as well in the harem, knowing that her family is safe. And we know that because quite literally, the empress like is always just kind of like huffing and like kind of like sighing at whatever Consort Hua does, and she kind of just like blows it away as like, oh, you already know how she is, like it's not gonna change, you know. But yeah, and then in this fucking see, and then Consort Hua, perfect example of monopolization of power. Like because I really feel like she does everything in her power to make people suffer, and I feel like it's just because that's the only way she has like semblance of control. And I feel like she would rather be cruel than kind, because that's what control is to her, but also because she's been given so much control, you know, and that's how she feels like she has to keep it. I see here that both Attendant Wan and the Emperor, you know, kind of wanted to just be like on their own for a sec there. Like they were kind of like, ugh, you know, like, god damn it. And like Attendant Wan was almost like, excuse me, what the fuck, hello. And I kind of like, I noticed how she was able to, because she once again, she's a Attendant Wan is I keep saying Noble Lady Wan, but Attendant Wan is you know, she's just an attendant, and a neglected one at that. Like he doesn't visit her, he's just starting to even like pay attention to her. And I think even with such like lack of attention from him, and therefore power and control and authority and status, she's still able to like defend and stand for herself, and even like flexes authority at the fact that I'm a neglected bitch, but I'm his bitch at that, you know, type thing, which isn't really what it is. That's kind of a simplification of it, but whatever, you get what I'm saying, chat, you get what I'm saying. I need water. Water. Water break, chat. Yeah. Oh, and this little banquet scene that they had. Ugh. Yeah, like I'm this like brother sister duo shit. I was just once again glancing over, and just like I'm over it. They're annoying. Now, it's funny how like when she prays for something, the exact opposite happens. Like the exact complete opposite happens. And at this point, I think Buddha is just like, don't ring my line anymore, lady. Like, leave me the fuck alone. And I just kind of feel bad for her because it's like, it's never gonna go her way. Like, it'll go her way, but it's never gonna go her way. I keep fourth wall breaking as if, like, she's aware that she's a character in the story. This is just her life, chat. But we know. We know she'll be fine. Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Man, stop fucking lying. Alright, so like, it was clearly obviously a tenant wand, but I guess this maid was just like, no, it was me. Me. And I don't like her. Like, I feel like somebody who will lie like that to get favor, probably bad news. But, whatever. Young Lee was about to get her ass. Young Lee was about to get her ass and say some shit. Anyways, coming to a conclusion, chat. Replay is done. Episode 5 is just... We have another mean girl. Yes. Okay. Will she, like, become paralyzed? You know? Maybe. Because they don't typically last long. Especially, like, such a fucking low-ranking ass fucking girl. Like, chat, episode 5 was just basically, like, attendant Juan getting on her feet. But, just like how she was praying to Buddha for help and shit, Buddha was like, psych, we're gonna give you a little obstacle. In the form of, a chosen maid you, I believe, is her official title. I think it says escort you in the version we're watching, which is, once again, it is the Letev official channel, LETV official channel on YouTube. Yeah, they, once again, subtitle team, amazing with context and giving, like, background information, but for some reason have changed up names, titles, and, like, courtesy names to, like, I guess more of a, like the equivalent to, it's still the equivalent to the name in the original Mandarin, but it's like they have like a French translation. For instance, a lot of the names of the older like consorts, concubines are like fleur for flower, but because I'm listening to the replay, it's Hua, which is consort Hua, which is consort flower as well. So I'm just like, okay, weird shift there, but don't get too confused. Once again, I'll also keep track in script for you guys, and I'll always like make sure to reference like this is who this person is, so we don't get too caught up on the subtitles. But beyond that, we are going to be moving on to episode 6. Now, okay, we was just talking about how this bitch was literally like literally like meek, would never see her like man, nothing. But boom, pow. Finally, Companion An gets to be with the Emperor for the night. She gets to service her husband, if you will, and I'm actually really happy. But so, right in the next scene, guys. Ha! Oh, that's fucked up. Damn. Well, that's kind of sad. So, in the replay I'm watching, she literally is, she's just too nervous. She's very meek, right? And he's just like, oh, well, I ain't trying to be with girls who ain't trying to be with me, right? Which is fine, but, like, these girls are very, like, to put in perspective and context as to why I am so upset, these girls are virgins in the sense that they have quite literally never been allowed to be in contact with men in their life except the ones in their family. For instance, uncles, fathers, brothers, cousins, and even at a like that distance, or even at a family function society like that, it's at a distance. You know, men and women had to be separated from each other at all times, and women weren't even allowed to really go outside the house. You know, they did like needlework and sewing and raising children, and that's basically it. And if you were in like a poorer part, like if you were more of a peasant in this time, because we're in imperial China, that was even more so. Like you would also like raise certain parts of the farm and deal with certain parts of the household, while your husband probably worked like the harder parts and worked the fields and stuff. But you could literally not like step out your house without like the accompaniment of a male relative or partner or husband. So to put that in perspective, she's quite literally never had contact with any other guy, probably except like her father, right? And this is her first night with her husband, and she's just like really happy. And we saw like she's like, I'm ready. And he immediately was like, why are you shaking? Get out of here. I don't want you no more. I want a bitch that knows what she's supposed to do. Like, guy, like, and these girls are like 16, bro. Like, come on, like, maybe soothe her nerves, you know, a little pillow talk, maybe. Like, even with like, because I'm assuming like her Google or like the madam who teaches her about like proper etiquette explained like, you know, when you get with the emperor, you should relax. But that's kind of like, that's in practice, that's kind of hard to do, you know. Like I said, they're just very much unaware of what to do, one, and two, have never been like in like exposed to it. Like no one talks to them about it. Like especially in this capacity, when they're like in the royal family, they don't have like a mom or like their sister to be like, okay, sweetie, wedding night, I know you're nervous, but like they don't have anything. And she's just like shivering like a leaf. And I was just kind of like pissed off at him for just straight up being like, never mind. But anyways, I talked too long on that. Sorry, I didn't want to keep y'all on that one, chat. But see, this is why I love Attendant Juan too, because this and like sisterhood and mothership that she's building with Attendant Chen is giving me very much like warm, like, I don't know, what is it? What's the word, chat? What's the word when you have like warm fuzzy butterfly feelings? There you go. That's what I'm trying to go for, chat. It just makes me happy because once again, it's a shining hallmark of her like personality. She is genuinely trying to get along with these women. And especially the like younger, like I think Attendant Chen is 14, by the way. So she's very much a child. And she has we're talking about like companion An, who is like 17, right, who has maybe a little bit more of an expectation of her as a woman and what a woman should do in terms of like being in the bedroom with her husband. But like she's just a baby with Attendant Chun. It's even more so that like she is like, I don't know what to do. I'm bored. I'm just here hanging out. And I'm glad Attendant Juan actually gives a fuck and is there to help her. Because I'm pretty sure all the other women are just too busy dealing with, like, their own woes and jealousy and, like, murderous plots and rages. Because for sure that's exactly what's going on right now. Did I mention how much I hate Kwan Sedhua? Did I mention how much I literally have visceral hate? In episode 6, by the way, we're 6 episodes. We got 70 more to go. And I have such visceral hate for this lady already. Like, she's just gonna use, like, companion, Yu, is that her name? Is that her name? Yes. Chosen Maid Yu. Yeah, that's what her name. I don't know where I get companion from. I'm trying to keep up with these titles, y'all. She's just gonna end up using, like, Chosen Maid Yu as, like, a means to an end, right? Like, she doesn't give a fuck about this girl. And she can't even see it. Like, this is what I mean by these mean girls don't last. Because there's always another mean girl. There's always, and then on top of that, there's always a head mean girl, okay? Like, she's such an idiot. whatever. Moving. I'm not even gonna spend more than like 3 minutes on this lady because, I mean, I will because she's gonna be in like the show, but like, ugh, I don't want to. She's a fucking idiot child. I really do enjoy the scenes where Attendant Juan gets to freely be with the Emperor like this, you know? No pretext, you know? Nothing completely, like, in their way. They're just free. Like, obviously, they still observe decorum and etiquette, but, they get to both know each other, you know, he is lying, though. Now I realize, I was like, oh, pretext. Well, he's just lying about who he is. Okay, well, never mind. Take that back. Redact this statement. I'm just loving the, like, ability for her to be a little bit more free and freeing with the Emperor in this scene. And for him too, because he gets to act like a prince rather than the Emperor. So he doesn't have his, like, carousel of servants. He doesn't have people, like, flocking over him, and she's acting more calmly. So that's why he probably was like, oh, this is exactly what I want, you know? We're on episode 8 of Watch Club. Currently, we are using Letev TV or LETV on YouTube to watch Empresses in the Palace. So feel free to go ahead and watch along with us. If not, feel free to just listen in for this review and commentary. Let me know what you guys think. I hope I am making you guys proud. That being said, I'm ready to hop back into what the hell is happening. So personally, we like we said, we see that Attendant Juan was like basically just being showered by the Emperor's gifts, love, and affection, and people are reacting accordingly. Household department is reacting accordingly, but also the people who dislike her are reacting accordingly, and that's gonna put her at public enemy position number 1. But also, I saw in episode 8 that the Empress is making some moves, or if not necessarily moves, is putting on this air of benevolency that I do not trust. I don't trust it, and I feel like she is making moves in the background. I feel like she what is it Machiavellian. She's very Machiavellian. She is very much like in on the schemes of the palace in her own way. She's not overtly evil. I don't think she's just like trying to like murder or kill or crush people, but she is sorry chat, I just got so sidetracked by this review, but she is in her own way very cunning and devious, and that's never a good thing. Like, she has to be able to contend with Contour as well. She has to be able to like maintain her position as Empress and not via just her family. And something tells me like she's not someone to just, you know, not look out for. She's someone that you have to pay attention to. Excuse me. Also, I want to point out this is the first time we see Noble Lady Juan and the Emperor tonight, and one like coupledom. She will be serving him, and she will officially become like his wife, and she will have earned her title in that right, which I notice makes Consort Hua very distraught. Like, I don't understand why. Like, I get like her being sad, but the hateful portion of it I don't understand. Like, yeah, I understand humans are assholes and can't do like or will do anything with their power, including crushing those who are in their way, and I get it. But I don't know why in particular like Noble Lady Juan is even more so like a affront to her power. You know, is it like we get it, like, yeah, he'll take like note and like of her beauty and be with her, but he did that with Chosen Maid Yu, and I don't understand why you helped her. I mean, is it that you thought you could control her completely, like you could see through her like machinations and immediately was like, I'm gonna use her to my advantage and throw her away? And if that's the case, why not try and do that with Noble Lady Juan? Why all of a sudden have such a huge guard against her, and we should really keep note of that. Like, why all of a sudden such a huge like change in like attitude? Like, it was, yes, it was very much like, I don't like you, and you're a thorn in my side, but now it's just, I hate you and you need to die type shit. And I'm just like, crazy. After this little get together, well, that was a horrible way of describing. After she finally serves the emperor and they have like their official wedding night, it moves on to the next scene where Companion An is like kind of by herself, but with her maid, so kind of by herself. And I was hinting at like, she's not as like stable, or she might not be as stable as we think she is. She could actually go down one or two paths depending on her mental state, because she is so very enclosed and closed off, very meek and shy, and kind of to herself. You don't really get to see much of who she actually is. Like, don't get me wrong, people obviously are shy and they're actually that way, but for her, and especially in this drama, it goes beyond that. There's more to her shyness and the way that the reason why she is the way that she is, that we haven't seen yet. And I kind of saw a peak of jealousy in that scene. I kind of saw that she was very nervous of Noble Lady Wan and what the Emperor taking a liking to her could mean. And though she does, obviously, she's aware that she's like one of the lower ranks concubines, was actually one who was sent back and sent away from serving. She's aware of her status and what that means for her, but she also is aware, like, she was probably comfortable with the fact that she wasn't the only one that was alone. She's like, yeah, I didn't get to serve the emperor, and yeah, I got sent back, but my friends are kind of with me. Like, yeah, we had Noble Lady Shin being the big sister for Attendant Wan, or Noble Lady Wan, who was attendant at the time, and for Companion An. But now we see Noble Lady Wan standing out in her own light, in her own way. And that's probably making Companion An feel, very left out and very alone. But we'll see what that means in the meantime. We'll see what that can do for her, or what that will do for her eventually. But I will say that the serving scene was very, very sweet, and he was the exact opposite of how he was with Companion An than how he was with Noble Lady Wan. And that goes to show that he genuinely, one, didn't give a fuck about Companion An, but there's more to like him than just seeing them as like serving wives or women who are just there to serve them. He kind of like has a little bit more about him. I still think he's a fucking airhead and idiot for using Concert Hua the way he does and allowing her to just like run wild and monopolize her power. But I think he also is doing it because he knows like he needs that power, and this is probably the easiest way to keep her controlled. So that's why double-edged sword there, but it's fine. It's fine. Whew, chat. I promise it's not COVID, chat. I promise. Don't get mad at me, chat. It's just a little cough. You don't have to be so upset. You don't have to go so crazy. It's just me, chat. It's just me, your best friend. Anyways, moving on. Huge upgrade. Just want to take a note. Huge upgrade to her wardrobe now that she's served the emperor, and is an official Noble Lady. Her hairpiece is completely different now. She has like tassels and like full on hair ornaments and jewelry, whereas last episode she kind of just had like the standard hair that we saw, the hairpiece that we saw that comes out to the sides and folds. This one is a huge fan, with like I said, adornments. Her upgrade in wardrobe is different. She's wearing different colors now. and the patterns are different, the silk, the texture is different, you know. And I'm sure these are all via His Majesty giving her gifts and things like that. But it is part of basically being, a wife. Like, you get your little upgrades, and you get your little trinkets that come along with your title and whatnot. But I also would like to point out that I don't think this is Noble Lady's style, or Noble Lady Juan's style, personally. I think the subtleness, and not necessarily plainness, but the subtleness of what she wears first in the series, and like the, what's a good word? Is it homely? I think it's called homely. The homeliness of her outfit and her hair and everything kind of complement her personality, and I feel like every time I see her change into something a little bit more extravagant, it hints at like her personality changing in that extravagant way. Like, the closer she is to extravagance, the more, or the less we know, or the less we know of the Noble Lady Juan that we had before. Hopefully she doesn't change too much, but I do understand with status and power comes a huge shift in personality. And, believe it or not, like, people like to sit here and say, like, I don't let money change me, I won't let power change me. Listen, you should let it change you. Change is good. You shouldn't want to, be the same old you was before. That's miserable. Like, don't get me wrong, have morals, have values, things that you live by, but like, allow yourself to be changed and experience that change. Now, obviously, you don't want to go down a dark change. You don't want to be negative about the choices and decisions that you're making. You want to stay on the positive side and do good things. But obviously, like, let me tell you right now, I get any type of fucking chunk of change, money, like, I'm talking thousands upon thousands of dollars. Yo, I'm getting an upgrade in hair, wardrobe, living situation, everything. Everything's gonna change, not just the personality. So if the outside is gonna change, I'm gonna change the inside too to reflect that. And I'm gonna reflect it in a way that makes me feel good, in a way that, coincides with my values and what I believe in and whatnot. And here, going back to what I was saying, going back to the Empresses and the palace, here I think it's the opposite in that, or it could be the opposite in that she could be changing negatively. I'm not sure personally. Even as far as I've gotten in the series, it hasn't necessarily changed her just yet, in a way that we can see, but it is implied that she is changing in a way. But moving on, not to stay on here for too long. Well, rat ass fucking Kung Lu Hai. This fucking piece of shit. Can't believe I just said fucking, whatever. I knew he was gonna come scurrying back. We knew, like, listen, to me, this is my personal opinion, you don't have to agree, whatever, but once a traitor, always a traitor. If you'll turn your back on someone, you'll do it to the next person. You'll do it to the next person. It's called having morals and values. Like, you go through thick and thin, and of course have, like, once again, of course, have a sense of self-worth, self-propriety, and like making sure you're taken care of. But that doesn't outright mean abandon those who are less fortunate or going through a harder time or rougher time. Sure, distance yourself if it's for your mental health and whatever you need, but communicate that. Let them know that. Like, make them aware, and just still let them know, hey, for the things that I can do, for the things that I'm able to do within my sphere of responsibility, let me know. But this fucker, rat ass, fucking Kang Hai, no, fuck him. Avoid people like him at all costs, okay? They will make life for you miserable, and he's gonna try and make life for her miserable by trying to curry favor and get back in her good graces, And we see that he doesn't actually make life miserable, but we see that she outright rejects him, but it leaves a bad taste in the mouth of the other people who happen to witness it. And though she is very polite and courteous, and she rejects him and whatnot, she does everything she's supposed to do, somehow she is still public enemy number one. Somehow she is still in the wrong, and that's not her fault. She didn't deserve that. But it is what it is, and that's why I say avoid people like that out of your life. And please avoid people like that in dramas if you find yourself in a K-drama or C-drama one of these days. But moving on. The next thing I wanted to take note of, and I actually have it written down in the script itself. Something tells me like the emperor can be just as cruel and unforgiving as he can be nice and caring. And that is what boils down to it. When it comes to these women's lives and everything, like, he doesn't have to believe anything you fucking say. It doesn't matter how many years you've been with him, how long he's loved you, how many children you have. At the end of the day, his love will stop to a certain degree if it does not serve him. And, excuse me, I feel like that's what some of the women in the harem are experiencing, so they turn to jealousy and rivalry and hurting anyone else's chances just so they can try and reminisce on what they used to have, because the emperor isn't going to come back to them. Like, you might visit them, sure, if there's like a banquet or like one of them has a child, but that's about it. He's not there for their beauty or genuinely loving them. And that plays into the fact that he can just select whoever, whenever, however, to serve in his harem. And that's just the fact of it all, unfortunately. Alright, but moving on. I also wanted to point out that is a trope in dramas to have like an emperor who's like that, because it serves the plot. But I think it's a little bit more than that in this particular drama. As I'm going along, and you'll constantly hear me reference other dramas and things that set the bar and standard in drama for me, but there is a really good example of a king who is in the same way just as nice and caring, or not king, emperor, just as nice as caring, but as equally as cruel and unforgiving in his love, and that is story Vangxi Palace. And it is the story of the Qinglong Emperor, which is the son of this emperor that we are currently watching about. That's his son that we see, and he, very much like his father, very much rules in the same way and loves in the same way like his father, is very much using power and his status as emperor as a way to show love, but also as a way to take away love, But yes, also moving on. I want to give a huge shout out to Noble Lady Shin, because she is a true friend in all of this, through and through. Like, this is true sisterhood, and this is what I meant by like Consort Hua, excuse me. This is what I meant by Companion An could go either way in terms of how she handles such affection given to Noble Lady Wan. But I see that Noble Lady Shin is upfront about like how she feels, and she suspected this were to like happen. Like, she knew that eventually like they were going to have to both serve the emperor, and she prepared herself for that. And once again, not sure if that's via her upbringing or the caring and like years of being friends with Noble Lady Wan that she has, that allows her to view and have that perception, rather than Companion An, who only had and known these women for a couple weeks. Maybe she stayed with her for a couple weeks before getting into the harem and like being officially like moved into the palace, but that was about it. Other than that, they hadn't met each other until the selection. So it's nice that Companion An is trying, but it goes to show you that Noble Lady Shin is probably really the friend Noble Lady Wan needs and will be for her throughout the series. But it also goes to show you that can also be a double-edged sword, and we see Consort Hua trying to use that to her advantage in terms of driving a wedge between the noble ladies, and it doesn't work. She being Noble Lady Shin is like very like aware of what Consort Hua is doing, but she is aware of herself and what it means for her to not be friends and not try to make it work with Noble Lady Wan, and also 1 point for her, shout out to her. But that is the end of episode 8. we are literally blowing through these episodes. We're just getting through them like nothing, and for that, I love you and I'm thanking you so much, chat. Final thoughts on episode 8. Friendships are basically being tested, and though I am worried, I am not necessarily shaking, quaking in my boots. Everything will be okay, in my opinion. We see Contrepoix trying to, or is ramping up the severity in which she's attacking Noble Lady Yuan and getting at her and her people, and that is causing a huge like shakeup of the harem, because honestly, like, we have the Empress, but Contrepoix is really the one that people kind of look to and look from when it comes to things being done in the harem. The Empress isn't really the one to go to unless they want to like go above and against Contrepoix. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, people don't do that. Even the older women who, like Concubine Esteem, like she doesn't give a fuck. She kind of keeps to herself. But we see Consort Chi, the mother of the third prince. She's quite literally always under the Empress, right? And on the other hand, Noble Lady Cao is always under Contrepoix. So it's very much divided in the palace right now, and that's causing a big shakeup within the harem and the women who are in the harem. But aside from that, chat, we are going to be moving on to episode 9. Also, if you can, once again, please go ahead and give me a nice follow on on that. Go ahead and give me a big shout out if you can in chat. If you're lurking, I want to give a big shout out and like and follow on my lurkers. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for being in here and watching me. This means so much to me. I'm trying to make this work for me in more ways than one. This is a dream of mine, and you being in there and just watching this idly helps very much. We are on our last episode of our review and commentary. I think, yeah, episode 9, yeah. So, personally, I think, of the rivalries and competition so far, and, you know, everything that we see, like, the jealousy and, like, the just the straight-up disrespect, I wonder if Noble Lady Yuan will be ready for the confrontation, like, a head-on, face-to-face confrontation. And, I want to know, like, where's, shit, I didn't have my replay up. Oh, I want to know if she genuinely, like, is ready and if she can face them. Like, is she gonna need the help of Noble Lady Shen all the time, or, like, Companion An or whatnot? And I just want to know, like, for instance, if, like, if she were to, let's say, if Consort Hua was to, like, go after her and, like, try and poison her and whatnot, like, what is her, like, what is she gonna use to protect herself? Because she's just gotten favor, but she's not super high ranking. She's very much a target, and we see that, like, her servants, or the ones that were her servants, kind of just up and leave and then come back when they will, and try and, like, take advantage of the fact that, like, oh, we really want to help you, and, you know, we just really needed someone to serve, whatever bullshit, you know. And then also on that end too, what is the Emperor gonna do if she does decide to fucking face, like, Consort Hua head on? Like, they would initially be the, like, most, like, favored consorts at the moment. And what is he gonna do when his two favorites fight each other all the time? And, you know, like we see before, like, Consort Hua, like, the Emperor just, like, merely tolerates, like, the women of the harem, you know. And, like, with Consort Chi, when he summons and visits her for the night, he was pretty much cutting to the bone with his, like, comments, you know, very sterile, very cold, and, like, I don't want to be around you attitude, and telling her shit like she's too old to wear a certain color, shit like that. Like, he just didn't care to be there at all, and he would just say things or whatever he could say just to, like, find a reason to run off and get away from her. And in a way, like, because I'm thinking, like, in a way, I don't see how that can like harm Consort Hua other than her feelings, because like he still has to deal with her family and needing her brother and whatnot. So I don't see how it would harm Consort Hua, but if it were to happen to Noble Lady Wan and he becomes cold like that, what will she do? You know, she doesn't necessarily have a strong family to lean on, and she's not super high ranking. She doesn't have like friends and family in the palace that like are gonna help her against something like that. So yeah, fuck that. Fuck the emperor. Fuck that guy. He's just, yeah, he's a fucking piece of shit sometimes. And also, this is what I mean, that his love can be a double-edged sword. Just as kind and caring with Noble Lady Wan, equally like cold and uncaring with Consort Chi. So yeah, just walks out and was like, "Fuck you." and see, and then in that same breath, putting her in public enemy number one spot again. You know, constantly keeping her as the apple of his eye, while yes, inspires jealousy, even though it shouldn't. He, as a husband, should love all of his wives equally. And the one who would take precedence, if, you know, there was such a thing, because they do give precedence to the Empress, would be the Empress. That's his legal wife. So the legal son, or the D wife, D son, are the main ones that are recognized under law with the most protection for them. But he still has to love each and every other concubine equally, even if their statuses are different. And we see that he isn't, and that puts her at a disadvantage, you know? Literally, like, ending up back in her palace after walking out on Consort Chi kind of also puts her at public enemy number one with the Empress too, because Consort Chi is on the Emperor's side from what we see. She doesn't give a fuck for Consort Hua, and quite literally rebuffs her at every chance she can. And it just kind of goes to show you that someone at equal measure and equal level, Consort Hua has just enough of a hard time dealing with her. And that kind of just makes me feel some type of way. But it is what it is, you know? One thing to also take note before we before we move on, even though she has public enemy number one spot, what we're also interested in, or should be interested in seeing, how she reacts and how, like, why she reacts, but also who it affects. Who does it end up affecting? Because, like I just said, her family isn't huge, but eventually, like, her father will probably gain some notoriety due to his daughter's favor with the emperor, and I want to know if that will affect her and, Jade, which we found out, which is her half sister. You know, that was pretty much frowned upon, and we also found, we also know that her mother did something to or like irked the ire of the emperor, so that probably wouldn't be a good thing if the emperor finds out who Jade is, and we see in the next scene quite literally the jealousy affecting Noble Lady Shin. She didn't do shit but her job, and boom, is quite literally the target of Consort Hua's like evil intentions and jealousy. And if we notice, there, the person she was pushed in by, and I say Consort Hua jealousy, is if we notice the person who pushed her in was a limping eunuch. We see him limping off into the distance, and who employs such eunuch is Consort Hua, and it is kind of like a get fucked moment, like I'm gonna fucking get you, right? And I speculate it's because of her proximity to Noble Lady Wan, but also, Noble Lady Shin was becoming like a little thorn in Consort Hua's side, so I get it. But not that I get it's okay to do that, but I get why she went after her too. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna come back to bite her in the ass. Like, I'm pretty sure. Like our main is not gonna take that shit lightly. She's gonna do something to Consort Hua. I know she is. And then I also wanted, like, to point out, like, Consort Hua wanted to remove and replace Noble Lady Shen's servants with her own as a way to keep and control her. Like, keep watch and control her. I'm pretty sure that she was just gonna try and, like, any second she can get, have the guards mistreat her or, like, leave her side so something can magically or mysteriously happen, I should say. But Noble Lady Shen doesn't stand for it. She comes to save the day, and it's kind of sad to see that everyone in the harem knows what Concert Hua is doing. It's like even the emperor, but because of status and power and what they want to get out of her and how they want to use her family, they just go along and abide by the charade, you know? And that brings me to my final thoughts, you know? Fucking head scratching myself over here. 67 more episodes to go. You know? 67 more episodes to go. And I'm really, really counting every second, too, because this is fucking crazy. Okay? Like, by no means am I okay with her getting pushed into the pool like that, nilly-willy, but it does serve to drive the plot, and it's gonna get fucking crazier. Like, this is, once again, ramping things up in a different direction than I initially thought. We have 9 episodes, or we're 9 episodes in, and we have 67 more to go. Like, what else is gonna happen outside of death, you know? But anyway, chat, that's me just talking. That's just me filling the air, you know? I don't want to hold you too much. Let's see here. But I want to give a big shout out once again to everybody tuning in to this episode of Watch Club. It has been always a pleasure. It has always been a huge, huge joy to do this. And everyone in chat, my lurkers, you are a huge reason why I do this. Everyone on YouTube, you are a huge reason as to why I do this. I'm going to continue to do this for you and for me. And it would mean so much if you can tune in next time. You know, drop a like, drop a follow, subscribe for those on YouTube, whatever you want to do. But I can't wait. And this shit's gonna get even crazier. 67 more episodes, chat. 67. Keep that in mind. With that being said, y'all have a good night.